All right. Today is May 18th. It's fight day. We're talking about Oleksandr Usyk versus Tyson Fury, the lineal heavyweight champion for the IBF, IBO, WBA, WBC, WBO for every single belt. It's the first time we've had it since Lennox Lewis won it, 25 years ago, something like that. So, real quick, the most important notes for you guys who are watching. It's in the United States. If you're on the Pacific in the Pacific time zone, the broadcast is actually. So we're recording this at 9:13. So the broadcast is starting right now at 9 a.m., 12 p.m. Pacific. The fighters' main event. Usyk and Fury will step in about 3 o'clock on the West Coast, 6 o'clock East Coast on the Zone and ESPN Plus. I'm a little partial to ESPN Plus because I cannot stand the fact that you have to subscribe to the Zone, but you can do both. You got options, and then payperview.com. So definitely watch. Part of this, the purpose of this channel is to help expand boxing for. Definitely want to talk to those who love boxing, but then bring in the casuals who watch only the big fights. And this is, if you're a casual, this is one of the fights that you want to watch because you have two extremely skilled heavyweights who move like much smaller men. And they're both intelligent. Their ring intelligence is really high. This is a great fight. For all the casuals who want to see two men who are the best in their division. Joining us today is Vince Para, always boxing trainer, understands the sweet science. How's it going, Vince?
Good. What's going on, Armando?
Just looking forward for this fight today. It's going to
It's
be
gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm super big fan of like say Terrence Crawford. Really big fan of his. Get excited because he's fighting. Don't care who he's fighting. I just want to watch him fight. This is one of these fights where Tyson Fury. I've enjoyed his fights. Usyk. I mean, obviously extremely talented from the amateurs to all the way through the professionals. If he wins today, he'd be one of uh, three cruiserweight unified champions to come up to heavyweight and win. So he'd be
That's
in
right.
very, very small company. Um, at the same time, I'm not like, it's not like the fan, like Manny Pacquiao was a huge fan of his, going to watch him fight. Like these are just two guys who
Right.
are extremely good, the best in their division. And at the time when boxing needs a fight like this. I mean, this is huge. If you're just a boxing fan, not a particular fan of either of these men, you're still going to watch this fight because
Yeah.
it's special. It's a special
Oh,
day.
dude. I mean, it's great. And for me personally, I mean, watching how this all unfolded, and actually, for part of it having a front row seat for it, meaning when Tyson Fury came back in 2018, that was in Manchester, England, where I happened to have my fighter Maurice Hooker was fighting for his first world championship, and
Uh,
Tyson Fury was coming back to start this whole thing. He had just signed with Frank Warren. He had, lost all the weight. I forget who he fought on the card. I think Safari. I can't remember the guy. It was a quick fight, but it was his comeback fight for this whole entire thing. And then watching him live, we were ringside for the first Deontay Wilder fight, when he came back. So the guy, time after time, has been coming back. And then now to see it all culminate all the way to this fight. And the same thing with Usyk. Usyk tore through the Muhammad Ali Cup during that same year, 2018, unified the cruiserweight division against a very tough competition. I mean, Murat Gassiev, who's a very good friend of mine, was one of the guys in that tournament. He was the IBF champion at the time, and he dominated Murat fully, which was a guy who was tough, up and comer, and he could punch like a mule. And Usyk has just shown, time in and time out that um, his skill level, is up there with the tops. You know what I mean? And the numbers don't lie. The 2 wins over Anthony Joshua, and then on the same token, you have Tyson, where you know Tyson Fury comes out of nowhere, shocks Wilder, ends up having a great trilogy with him, um, and is now in the position to fully unify all the heavyweight belts for the first time in 25 years, and potentially by beating Usyk, set up an all British showdown with Anthony Joshua, which is astronomical, as we know, if it is to happen. But man, I got to tell you, I've gone back and forth with this fight, and it's a tough one to look at. But preparation wise, that Tyson's in tremendous shape, and Usyk's always in tremendous shape. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, Armando.
I'm curious, just for casuals, why boxing people are excited. If you're a casual and you watch Pacquiao or Floyd when they used to fight, or you occasionally tune in. Why do you want to tune in for this fight? Why is this fight so important for boxing, and why is it such an attraction, a global attraction?
Well, it's the heavyweight championship of the world, and at one time was considered, you know, you're considered the king of sport. You know what I mean? Our sport's very old. You know what I mean? And the heritage of uh, professional boxing and the Marcus of Queensberry rules, the heavyweight champions always ruled. And although things have been a little bit watered down, maybe you could say in ways, because of the new 4 belt era, and then there's the Ring magazine Lineal champion, which we always, the peers, believe that is the true champion. But in order to make it all happen on paper, and on paper, this is going to be the biggest fight in the last 25 years for the heavyweight divisions. Like we said back, from the last time this happened, which was Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. So I think for the casual to watch this. I mean, it's a no brainer. You got great stories on both ends. Tyson Fury with his story and his family, and all that comes along with the Gypsy King, and beating the odds, and proving everybody wrong time in and time out. Then you got Usyk, who's basically fighting for a country. You know what I mean? A country that's at war as we speak, and his skill level is just so commendable, coming from the cruiserweight division up to face much bigger men, and probably one of the biggest heavyweight champions of all time in Tyson Fury. And his skill is commendable. So you're going to see a really skilled big man versus a really skilled smaller big man. So I think it's intriguing. I think the only thing working against it is the fact that it's on here at 10 a.m. West Coast time. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
um, but I think it's a very intriguing fight, and depending on how their styles match up, we could see a very exciting um, heavyweight championship fight, unification of all
yeah,
of them. So.
definitely. Um, as far as speed, power, ring IQ, their defensive set. Let's go. Let's start with the power. Who do you give the advantage to between Usyk and Fury?
Oh, I think you have to go with Fury on that. I mean, the guy's 270 pounds. You know what I mean? And he's a big man. He hasn't always been the biggest puncher per se, but I think the power is ultimately in his size. You know what I mean? And Usyk isn't known as like a devastating puncher.
Yeah.
So I think we got to go with Tyson Fury on that. Although Usyk can hurt you.
Yeah, I feel like it's the accumulation. Both fighters are accumulation fighters. They
Right.
will. I mean, you saw it in the Anthony Joshua Usyk fight, to where Anthony Joshua had a good 30 pounds on him, and it was by the 12th round. He almost knocked. If he would have had more time and didn't get tired, because it looked like he gassed at the end of that exchange with 5 seconds left to go. If he had a little more time and didn't gas with that exchange, I think he would have knocked him out. And that he's considerably smaller man.
Yeah.
Maybe a big man, but yeah, like you're saying, but considerably smaller than Joshua. So yeah, he definitely has that accumulation effect, and obviously with Tyson, the Tyson Fury versus the Wilder. I mean, it was just came in heavy and just laid on him with all that weight. So
And
okay,
don't
so
forget, styles make fights. And
yeah,
although Deontay Wilder is a devastating puncher, he's never been one for technique and fundamentals. So I think that the intriguing thing is Usyk is such a masterful boxer, and then with the Olympic background and whatnot. But so you have the guy who's really a master pugilist, and then you got a guy in Tyson Fury who's like a fighter, like a pure fighter, the Gypsy King, the Gypsy way,
yeah,
and with a tremendous IQ from a background of being with guys like Emmanuel Stewart and such, and having that lineage, even though he doesn't have the deep amateur background, just being a pure fighting man and having the footwork that we were talking about that he has,
oh yeah,
the way he moves and his understanding the ring, ring generalship. I think Tyson Fury has that in his own right. Um, and that's why it's going to be really interesting to see who's going to be able to impose their style.
yeah, definitely. So let's talk about speed between Fury and Usyk. Who do you give the advantage to on that one?
Well, I got to give it to Usyk. I mean, he's more of a combination puncher. Tyson Fury's kind of a plotter. Although his speed isn't terrible, it's quicker. I think he's a little bit more deceptively quicker. But I think I'll give that to Usyk.
Yeah. I think speed could be the key to his victory because if he is considerably because Joshua had the same issue with him was that he was getting off Usyk was getting off first
Right, and
and
able to get inside the reach as well.
right. Right. Yeah, and that speaks to his ring IQ with his amazing footwork to be able to get in position to tee off. I think that's the one issue that Tyson will have problems with is that if Usyk his timing and his speed is better, that it could be a long night for Fury. And we'll know after the first couple of rounds if he's going to have issues with that speed and the footwork. So
Yeah,
ring IQ. Who do you give the ring IQ to?
I think you got to go dead even on both of them on that. That's these guys are both at the highest level. So I think with that, you got to go with both of them. Maybe a slight edge to Tyson Fury, but it's like splitting hairs.
Yeah, the I think one of the ring IQ with Tyson, I give him I mean they're even. The one issue with Usyk's speed and timing that he could present to that Fury could present to him is his ability to do his feints, level changes. He's always twitching. You never know where he's going to be, which will give him that extra second and which will delay Usyk that extra second, right? Because he's not always going to stand. Joshua stands in front. He moves left to right a little bit his head, but basically he's right there. Fury doesn't do that. He's all over the place.
Right.
And so it's going to force Usyk to constantly reset his feet if he's able. And I believe that's why he came in lighter for this fight, so that he could execute on those feints and those all those twitching that he does with his feet and his head, and confuse and have basically steal some rounds because Usyk's not gonna be firing as much as if he would against a Joshua.
Right. Well, I think Usyk should adopt the same strategies he did, Joshua, which was, once he was able to get inside the distance, and land, he would follow up and take advantage of everything Joshua gave him.
Right.
Um, you know, I think Fury, that's really the best thing that Usyk can do is try to utilize his speed and his footwork to get inside of Fury's reach and to cut the ring off and not allow Fury to roam, at free will. You know what I mean? Because if he's able to do that and put things in, at his pace, then that's going to be problems for Usyk. I believe that the key for Usyk is to, once he's able to get inside that reach, is to let go and make Tyson Fury fight him at the mid range as much as possible. You know what I mean? And then anything can happen from there on. You know what I'm saying? He's got to keep the. To me, I think he's got to keep the pace of the fight a little bit higher than Fury wants it, and he's got to make him uncomfortable by getting inside that range and not allowing him to roam freely and control the whole ring. So that'll go back to us with the ring IQ. If Fury starts off and it wants to run around, it wants to box and move. Is Usyk gonna have the IQ to cut him off efficiently and not allow him to do what he wants to do, and vice versa? You know what I mean? Because Usyk is a hell of a boxer himself. So we'll see. That's why it's gonna be. That's why it's gonna be such a great fight, man. It's got so many questions.
You're right. And then the last one, defensively, who do you give the advantage to? And which could be the key to this fight?
Well, Fury's defense is mostly predicated on his length. You know what I mean? I mean, he has good head movement and he moves well with his feet and whatnot, but he'll have his hands down. So he's very cognizant, that his defense is to be away, and to slip. We haven't really seen him on the inside moving like a James Toney, which he shouldn't. He's 6'9". So
Right.
with that, I may give the slight edge because to Usyk, he's slick. He's gonna have to take a few more chances to get on the inside with Tyson Fury, but Usyk may have a little bit more of an edge just being with their size. You know what I mean? They had to. There's a little bit more head movement involved because of that. Tyson Fury kind of fights at range.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think Usyk's ability. I mean, there's one of the biggest punchers in the heavyweight division is Joshua, and he got caught several times with a straight.
Yeah.
Just he's aggressive, right? So he's going to get caught occasionally.
Right.
And he handled those straights really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So
That's why I feel like this fight's so interesting, because that factor of him being able to have already been in there with big guys and been able to handle their power and have them hurt, is going to be a huge factor of whether or not he's able to keep Tyson Fury off of him.
yeah, yeah,
If Fury decides to walk him down like he did, with the second fight with Deontay Wilder, but I don't think he's going to do that.
yeah. I think, and this leads to the next question about the weight, because there was a lot of one of the story threads this week was the weight of both fighters, especially after they stepped up the scales. Where you had Usyk, I believe he was 233, and Tyson Fury was 262, and everyone figured that Tyson was going to be around somewhere in the 60s, which is lighter than he stepped in there with Wilder. The surprise was Usyk coming in heavier, the heaviest he's ever been. And I think it's interesting because I see Tyson preparing for a marathon in there, moving around a lot of boxing because of Usyk, and then
Right.
Usyk putting the extra weight to handle just in case Tyson decides to lean on him, that maybe that extra weight will help him. Do you think the extra weight is going to hurt or help when it comes to Usyk?
Yeah, that's going to depend on him. They got their reasons for the weight. I think that guy he's a veteran champion. The guy's been doing this forever. I think he's comfortable. I think that's where he felt comfortable, and I don't think it'll be much of a factor either way. I mean, Tyson Fury came in lighter too. Instead of 279, he's what, 260 or what?
Yeah, 262. He weighed in
Yeah,
at.
it's easy. Yeah, I mean, so where again, to me, I don't know if that's going to be a factor either way. I think both guys are so experienced; they know what weight they feel the most comfortable at, and they both come in very respectful of each other and respectful of the magnitude of this fight. So I think that they're both extremely well prepared, and the weights they came in on are, to me, non-consequential. I think that they're just comfortable there.
Yeah,
So I don't think that either of them thinks that a little less weight or a little more weight on either side is going to change anything. It's just probably their overall feeling of how they feel that day.
yeah.
That's the one good thing about being a heavyweight. They can guys can
Right.
they can weigh whatever they want, and ultimately that's what it is. I feel that way. I mean, if Usyk put on a little bit more weight because he feels like it'll help him handle Tyson, I don't I don't see. I just think it's they're both comfortable at that weight, and that's what they came in at in the best shape of their lives.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about boxing is the mental side of it, right? And
Yeah.
this one, there wasn't a lot of shit
Hey,
talking. And I mean,
Mondo, hold on real quick. I gotta put my charger in. Hold
yeah,
on.
yeah, no worries. While Vince is gone, I'll take this chance to please like and subscribe. I'm pretty stoked on the fact that once we started doing these, I'm getting a lot more viewership. So we're up over 4,000, and I finally got to over 1 million views. So definitely like and subscribe, and we'll keep content coming to you guys.
We're
Yeah,
back.
yeah. One of the things I love about boxing is the psychological part of it, because a lot of people just um, look at the physical portion of the sport, which obviously is what everyone is entertained with. But being close to the sport, being close to athletes, like I have been and like you have been, you see the mental aspect, right? Because a lot of people, I mean, imagine the average person doesn't get in the ring and doesn't know what it's like to mentally step in there and get hit, right? And so that takes a great amount of mental strength to be able to do that. And I always look at past performances as stepping stones and learning from those past performances to advance a particular fighter, right? So I look at Tyson Fury's last fight with Ngannou, and I mean, these guys pay attention to what's going on. Everyone said that it was an embarrassment to boxing because they thought that he should have destroyed Ngannou, but he didn't. He didn't prepare for it, right? So he has that as his last fight. And then Usyk in his last fight against Dubious, he went down.
Yeah,
Now, when I watched it, I didn't watch it live, but I watched the fight because it was I caught it later. In real time, it looked like it was a low blow. But then, and that's what I initially posted on Twitter, was that it looked like a legit low blow. And then I watched it since, and the slow motion replays, he went down. Like it didn't. I don't think the cut. I don't think it hit low. So you got to know that mentally that's in his head, right? So he knows whether he went down or if it was a low blow. So you got both of these guys who even though Usyk ended up knocking him out, there's lessons to be learned there, and I feel like stepping into this fight off of their last performances, which weren't at the highest caliber for them, that is going to give both guys, like as far as fans go, we're going to get the best of both guys because they not only are preparing for each other, but at the same time, it's like you're only as good as your last fight, right? And there's a lot of Usyk has never had any question about his talent, skill, and then all of a sudden, everyone online was talking about, hey, this guy actually went down. There's a possibility, mental possibility. It's like, oh, he actually went down for the first time in his career, and if it's true for him that he went down, that he knows he got caught and got dropped. The mental aspect of that and his preparation for this fight. Do you does that factor in for you at all when you think about fighters and their last fights and what they learned from them and what they need to do to not have that happen again or to perform better?
Well, I think with the case of with him and Daniel Dubois, that shot. I actually was watching that fight, and there was an argument both ways. They made the call when they made it. It felt low to him. It felt low to his corner. It felt low. It looked low to the referee, and that's what they called it. And then he
Right.
came back and he knocked him out. I mean, I don't think so. If anything, you know, Dubois should have capitalized on that, which he didn't. And, Usyk turned it up and took care of business. So that's all you remember is the W. It wasn't a speculation of, well, was that low? Yeah, he hit him low to him. We don't know how he felt. If Alexander Usyk felt like he got hit in the nuts, I've been hit there. I've been hit below the belt a couple times. It's not the nicest feeling. It's
Right.
and very painful in a real fight. So for any of us to make judgments saying if that was low, if you're a fighter, you'll take it. Oh, hell yeah, I'll take that break.
Yeah.
And off the break, he came back and he didn't complain again. He went to work and he ended up stopping Dubois. So I don't think that there's any. I think they feel like they agreed with what the referee said. He got hit low. He hit me low.
Right.
They gave me a break. After the break, I came back and I kicked the guy's butt. So that's
Yeah.
that's how that ended up. So no, because ultimately on his record that ended up as a knockout. There could be question marks about the low blow, or that's always there's always can be something. But ultimately, for the fighter and his team, we walked away with a victory, a KO. Yeah, he hit us slow, and then we recovered and we knocked him out fair and square. So I don't see any mental strain from that. And then um, you know, keep your belt line higher, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, no, mentally going in, like I said, we're talking about two guys that have been at the top for a while. You know what I mean? And these guys are very experienced. Both have been in humongous fights, um, and are both here. So I think with both teams, everybody's wound tight. We can see with all the pre-fight stuff that's been going on with John Fury and the headbutting and then the
Yeah.
gypsies from England and you know all of the Ukrainians there with Usyk. I mean, we're getting the cream of the crop. You know what I mean? One of the best, probably arguably one of the best cruiserweights of all time, moving up to fight one of the arguably best heavyweights of our era. So this is truly a really good matchup. I hope it's a better fight than Lennox Lewis Evander Holyfield was for
Yeah.
25 years ago, because both those fights were just so hard to watch. So because their styles were just they
Opposite.
just clashed. Oh
Yeah.
man. But nevertheless, they're both great fighters. Lennox Lewis, one of my favorite fighters of all time.
Yeah.
So, but what we're gonna see these guys, yeah, from a mental standpoint, you're dialed in. These guys have done this, been there, done that, and these guys are dialed in. They know both their teams are dialed in. They both got excellent, teams and camps, and like I said, at the end of the day, these guys are at a level where you just got to show them what you need them to do. They're dialed in. They've been there. So both guys are not going to be affected anyway mentally. I don't even think Tyson will be affected by the fact he got dropped by Ngannou. I mean, this is fighting. That shit happens. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who it is. Anybody at that weight has the capability to put you on your butt, and that's what our sport is. This
Yeah.
isn't tennis. This isn't basketball. No, we make a mistake, and it can mean everything. So
Yeah.
those things happen. You know what I mean? He got hit in the body and went down against Dubois. Everybody thought he got knocked out. Whatnot. It wasn't what it was. He got up. He handled business. Tyson Fury took a payday to fight Ngannou and make a bunch of money for himself and his family and his team, and probably, like you said, may or may not trained very well for it, and he got dropped. But he came back and outboxed the guy and won a decision. So I think to him it's a W. A W is a W. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And in prize fighting, these guys are going to make a lot of money, and that's why we do this, and for the accolades as well. So they're fighting for a part of history. You know what I mean? So I think both guys, it's a first for both of them. So you know, may the best man win.
true, true. So to wrap this up here, who do you see edging this out?
I've been going back and forth with this, Armando, and I'm thinking about it all day. But man, I just, I see Fury coming out and boxing. They're both coming out boxing the first few rounds, but I can see Alexander Usyk taking it to him, um, and really taking over this fight. I can see Alexander Usyk winning this fight, even though I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan. Um, the way I've been seeing him look, and certain little things and nuances. I mean, this could be one. This could be a really, really good fight, and but I think I'm going to pick Usyk. I think for some reason I could see him getting the timing, getting the range on him, and not really letting Tyson Fury off the hook. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to be a great fight. So, but that's kind of how I see it going. I think Usyk's going to get in there and utilize his speed and his footwork, and he's going to make things difficult for Tyson Fury. And I think he can catch Tyson, maybe even put him on his butt.
Oh, that'd be interesting, right? See
You
a
know, it's
smaller
heavyweight
man take him
boxing.
down. Yeah,
And I could be completely wrong, and Tyson Fury can go out there and knock the guy, spark out like he said. So, but that's kind of how I'm seeing it right now. But I can't wait to watch it. I got the stream on right now. I'm watching a couple of the undercards. So
right. Yeah, I've got it on
um,
downstairs. I'm gonna go back down and keep watching. Yeah, I've
Riyadh
got
season, baby.
what's that?
Riyadh season.
Right? Dude, it looks like a big party over there. Watching a lot of the social media posts. It's like, damn, these guys are having a good time over there.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
great for boxing.
I give a slight edge. Like I think this is a true 50-50 fight, but I give a slight edge to Fury just if I put all of his assets and his size up against all of Usyk's assets, I give him a slight edge.
For sure.
I really feel like both of these men, they don't tire. Like it's not like Joshua where Joshua, tires or a Canelo tires. There's no question these guys don't tire. And they actually both get better in rounds 10, 11, 12. So I feel
Right.
like as this fight is just going to build, and by the time we get to the 12th round, they'll be going at it. And I wouldn't be surprised if we got a draw out of this because they're so like I
Yeah.
think we're going to see. I mean, all of this the slippage that you're seeing in Fury, and um, I feel like the Wilder fights did take something out of him. I mean, obviously he came out the victor in those three, and at least two out of the three fights. But to put that much on the line to take the shots that he did, it did take something away from him. But I feel that just the Gypsy King, he's that Gypsy toughness. I feel like we're going to see the best Tyson Fury that we've seen, and then we're obviously going to see like Usyk has every attribute that any trainer that any fighter would want to have in a fighter. Like he has it. Plus he
Man, he
mentally,
looks hungry, man. He looks
oh,
hungry.
his
You know,
the
he
stare
looks
down,
hungry.
the way he looks at him is insane. Like
Yeah.
just that intensity.
No, yeah, he's hungry. He's hungry,
Right.
and yeah,
Right.
I'm looking forward to it, man. It's sad because I may run into Tyson one of these days, and if he knocks him out, he's going to give me a really hard time about picking against him. But
Yeah,
but it's all
he
good,
is the
man.
type of man that
It's
would.
going to be a great fight. I'm hoping everybody's able to tune in. You know.
Yeah. 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 So just to wrap this up, again, it's for the IBF, IBO, WBA, WBC, WBO. Tyson's the unified champion, and he the only belt.
I think Usyk has the belts. Tyson
Tyson
has
just has
the
the
ring and the
WBC.
WBC. Right.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the one belt that he didn't have when he beat
Right.
Klitschko, right?
That's right.
And so
Yep.
now he has it, and Usyk's got all his belts. So yeah, two undefeated guys right there at the pinnacle of their career. I could see this. It's I'm just excited. It's gonna be a
No,
fun
it'll
fight.
be good, man. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, let's catch up after the fight, and let's see how smart we are.
Right. Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? See what happens.
I definitely don't see a Spence Crawford scenario play out. Like I see like two evenly matched guys that are just at a
You never know. That's boxing. You never
right.
know.
You never know. You never know.
All we can do is speculate. So that's the
It
fun
could be
part about
over
it.
and around because that's boxing.
That's right, man. Right
So
on. Well, let's catch up.
definitely.
Right on, bro.